This is going to be a good review. This is going to get straight to the bread, Dan. Welcome everyone to the Honest Review. Today we're going to be having a look at the Precogs by XPG. As always, this review is unsponsored and unbiased. I make nothing off of you guys' purchases, and if you value honest content like that, then like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now let's dive in. Now my initial response when XPG reached out to me was, I've never heard of you. But then I did a little bit of research and it turns out XPG is owned by Adata, which specializes in solid state and hard disk drives. So I went online and did some digging on the Precogs themselves, and I didn't find a lot of reputable reviews on this headset. And I was pretty excited because the Precogs actually have dual drivers, which really reminded me of the Cloud Revolver S from HyperX. For those of you who don't know about the Cloud Revolver S, it features dual drivers and is highly recommended and performs really well. But one of the biggest differences that I noticed when I compared the Cloud Revolver S headset to these XPGs is that the XPGs actually feature an electrostatic speaker and then a dynamic speaker. Needless to say, I was definitely intrigued. Electrostatic speakers are extremely accurate, especially in the mid to high end range, and they can perform very well, and I wanted to see how well they were implemented in this headset. So the first thing I liked was the packaging and then all of the accessories. We did get like a booklet and then a quick start guide and then some stickers from XPG. And then there's also a wide array of connection options inside. So first off, you have your old school 3.5mm separated headset and then microphone inputs. And then this would meet with a single triple banded 3.5mm plug. And then from there we have a small volume control module as well as a mic kill switch. And then another 3.5mm plug-in into the headset itself on the left-hand side. So this is your old school plug-in solution. And then surprisingly, we have a USB Type-C plug-in directly into the headset. Now in this version of connecting, we actually meet a controller with a built-in sound card. Now this has our volume wheel, which also is a quick mute button if you press it down. We have controls on the side for the headset, whether or not we want the LED lights on or off. And we have three different toggle modes here. One for FPS, which is supposed to be very accurate for directional audio if you're playing shooter games, a 7.1 surround sound mode, and then a music mode, which has absolutely no post-processing whatsoever. And then lastly, on the side of the sound card, we have a toggle for turning on and off ENC mode, which stands for noise canceling for the microphone that is provided, which we'll talk more about in a minute. Now this cable may not be long enough for everyone, and not everyone's going to be able to use a USB Type-C here, which is where this adapter comes into play to give you more cord length and then also provide you with a USB connection. So essentially, through all of the connection options provided, we could use this on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, plug it into your phone. The options are endless. Now for the actual design of the headset itself. For those of you who are a fan of the flashy gamer red, then this might appeal to you. We have the old school suspension band at the top, and it also has that XPG logo. It has that red stitching on the sides, which also complements the side of the headset itself. And if you're really a fan of that gamer red and you want a little bit of lights coming out of your headset, then you can use that sound card plug-in and then get the red LEDs going on the sides of the headset. So the suspension band itself actually has memory foam at the top, and it is pretty comfortable. However, this is a pretty heavy headset coming in at over 360 grams. But overall, they are pretty comfy and they do feel relatively weightless once you get them on. The ear pads are pretty comfortable and they have memory foam, and I would definitely say that they are glasses approved because they were comfortable when I stole my brother's glasses to try them out. And the framework does eventually go to metal on the sides, and it's almost like a gloss onyx look. And the ear cups do swivel both ways, so if you wanted to rest this headset on your shoulders, you could do that. Only problem is that there's a lot of clamping force here and it just wraps straight into your throat, so I wouldn't say that it's comfortable resting this headset on your shoulders at all. Another thing about this little joint here where we're allowed this rotation is that one side is completely smooth and then the other side has a bunch of friction and some noise. Not really a big deal, but I figured that I would note that. They're definitely really comfortable when you actually put them on, and the clamping force isn't excessive at all. They will get hot during long durations gameplay, but that's with most over-ear headphones anyways. Now the microphone itself is keyed, so you'll never put it in the wrong way, and it only goes into the left ear cup. It does have a pop filter right on it to prevent any plosives from those P's and those B's. And the mic adjusts really well. I can put it wherever I want it. It stays right in place. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and run a mic test for you guys with the noise canceling on and then off.
Testing the XPG Precogs with noise canceling enabled. Testing 1 2 3. Testing the XPG Precogs with noise canceling disabled. Testing 1 2 3. Testing the XPG Precogs with noise cancelling enabled. Testing 1 2 3. Testing the XPG Precogs with noise cancelling disabled. Testing 1 2 3.
So those of you with trained ears probably caught that. Whenever we turn off that active noise canceling, we actually end up with some background noise. I mean, it works great in noise canceling mode, but as soon as we turn off that noise canceling, it's pretty much useless. So we did switch up and try it out with the old school 3.5mm jacks with the red and green plugins, and we had the same result with the mic. So to anyone who has this mic, I hope that you're using it with the active noise canceling. But how do they sound? So the majority of my testing was done with the sound card option here, and then we took that to the USB Type-C converter, which takes it all to a standard USB connection. So the first thing I did was jump straight into FPS mode, which is supposed to be for accurate directional audio. So hearing footsteps and gunshots and doors opening and closing and people using equipment and reloading weapons, etc. It's all supposed to be very, very accurate. I can tell you right now, I was not a fan of the FPS mode. I tried this out in a couple different games and it definitely changed the audio chemistry. Sounds became a little bit more muddy. The lower end, the bass and the mids just felt a little bit drowned out, and it brought out more of the highs. So I jumped over to the 7.1 simulated surround sound. I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way. If you look at any professional player, they're gonna tell you to turn surround sound mode off. If it is enabled on your headset or on your external mix amp or DAC, go ahead and turn it off. And the reason they tell you this is that it adds more to the sound that's artificially there, and you're not getting the true clarity of the sound stage that's supposed to be present in game. But I do like rocking simulated surround sound for music and shows and movie watching. So surround sound mode definitely had more of the lows and mids come out, but again, I don't prefer it for gaming. So then I switched over to music mode, which has no post-processing. So I get to look at this headset and hear it with no artificial enhancements and see what it pushes out as far as its sound stage, its positional audio, and how it really pushes its highs, mids, and lows. Now, because this headset has dual drivers and one of those drivers on each side of this headset is an electrostatic speaker, it's supposed to have a broader frequency range. Now, in my past experience with electrostatic speakers, the only problem that I had is that the mids and lows just didn't have enough oomph. It doesn't have enough power. They just feel slightly drowned out by the highs and the high mid range of the sound spectrum. And I'm sad to report that that was my experience with this headset. Now I know that these Precogs also have a mix amp that's specifically made for them to drive them and give them all the power that they could possibly need, but I didn't have that mix amp. So I tried plugging this into my Astro A40 mix amp. And even though this headset has a similar ohm rating as far as my Astro A40s in the other room, I could not get the power and the presence that I wanted in the mid to low range. I also had an issue which was sporadic at times in the FPS mode where it seemed like the speakers were slightly desynced and there was somewhat of an echo. Sounds really weird, and I'm telling you, it was even weirder to experience it in game. Now this whole package that we're looking at today costs roughly 120 to 130 bucks. And although these have a lot of features that I do like about them, I have to say that there's better headsets that you can get for the money. At this price range, if I was gonna make recommendations to compete against this, one, I really like the Corsair HS70s that we reviewed. Amazing power and clarity, especially when you turn off the surround sound mode on those. They are really well done for a wireless headset. And then if we wanted to look at headsets that are wired and we could run into a good old mix amp and get some real power driven into them, you'd wanna look at like the HyperX Cloud Alphas, or what is it, the Cloud Alphas 2s. Those are freaking amazing for the price, and they pair perfectly with a good old DAC. And I hate to feel like I'm giving these guys a bad rap because I didn't get to try them out with the mix amp that is designed for them. But the thing is I can't find any reputable reviews online or on YouTube of this headset with the mix amp in use. So right now, yeah, I'm of the opinion that without the mix amp, I wouldn't personally be using these. That's just my personal opinion. You could take it or leave it. For those of you who are gurus and want all of the in-depth specs and specifics on these Precogs, I will have all of that linked down below. We also have a few giveaways running on our Instagram as well. If you'd like to participate, that will be linked in the description below. I do hope you guys enjoyed this no nonsense, no BS review of the XPG Precog. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, share the content. It's greatly appreciated. Notification Squad, you guys freaking rock. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Peace.